CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Qualia, sitting here with my co-hosts, Mike Molyneux and Marv Azan. And we are recording this on Wednesday, March 10th. So we now know who's been franchise tagged and who hasn't been franchise tagged. And free agent-wise, who the Patriots could go after. And with the salary cap was actually just announced, I believe, today. And somebody by the name of Jerry Thornton on Twitter posted the number that I think it's the Patriots can spend this offseason that they have room for, and it's about $68 million.
A lot of money. I thought it was 62, but if it's 68, even more.
62, 68, something around there. So without details, because that's not what the show's about. We don't need details. The team has a lot of money to spend. And post franchise tag day, I guess you want to call it that, the Patriots cannot go after Allen Robinson, who does not seem happy about the franchise tag by any means. I don't know if you guys saw those the tweets that he was liking. He is not happy about being franchise tagged, it seems like. And Chris Godwin is heading back to Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. So with that now, with the information that we know, guys, who should the Patriots' number one target be this free agency? Marv, let's start with you. What do you think?
This free agency, there are a plethora of wide receivers out there.
It's a haul.
Yeah, you mentioned Allen Robinson, and I feel bad for him because I know he's tight. You know, Chris Godwin goes back to Tampa Bay. Okay, cool. But the number one target that the Patriots should be seeking after is Kenny Golladay. I don't think there's any question. It is Kenny Golladay. And this is a receiver who was pretty much put in a one-dimensional type role with the Detroit Lions, but he's so much more than that. He can be your vertical threat. We all understand that. But this is a guy who can run down the middle, get you the ball. He can run the slants. He can be a quick pitch. He can run after catch that we've been thinking that was going to be N'Keal Harry, catch through traffic. He is the most versatile receiver out there in the free agency market right now. And you just mentioned all the money that the Patriots have to spend. Go and get him. Make him your number one. This is a receiver who doesn't get much respect that he deserves due to where he was playing. He can easily be talked as a top 10 receiver in this league if he gets put in the right situation. I love Kenny Golladay, and I think that Patriots should really seek after him to be their number one receiver and be a force in this league if he's paired up with the right team.
Kenny Golladay would be, I mean, he's one of those moves that really, really would excite a lot of Patriots fans.
It'll shake things up. It will definitely shake things up.
But you know what my concern is?
Talk to me.
A guy named Matt Patricia. He's here. I don't know if Kenny Golladay is going to want to. I don't know anything about Kenny Galladay's relationship with Matt Patricia. I didn't see any quotes from him, so, forgive me if I missed something, but Lions players coming to New England, it's the same thing with Matt Stafford, the Matt Stafford situation. I just worry that Matt Patricia being here would be a negative for those guys, looking at the Patriots.
So you know what that means? Patriots has got to put a little extra cheese in that proposal, and Kenny Golladay will come. You just let him know, okay, Matt Patricia, I understand he's only going to be doing defense this time. Don't even worry about it. He's just a defensive player. We're going to pay you. Patriots don't like to pay. The book's been out on that for years. But I think there's pressure. This is the most heat I've ever heard about Bill Belichick all offseason. There's been pressure out there. Belichick's going to have to start paying some cats to come in here. And they got the money to do so.
And, I mean, we talk about pressure. You got Tom Brady coming to New England next season. You have to put together a team that can beat them. You think Bill is going to be okay with putting a team out there that's not going to compete or beat Tom Brady and the Bucs? No, he's going to want to get somebody in there. And, with that, we've had this conversation before about how the Patriots don't have a quarterback. Why would a receiver, free agent want to come here? But we've seen plenty of times athletes go to teams that aren't contenders. I'm not saying the Patriots won't be contenders next year, depending on what they do this offseason. But we've seen athletes go to teams just because of the money. And the Patriots have that type of money this year. And another option you could do, if Kenny Golladay says, hey, I'll come to the Patriots, you got to get rid of Matt Patricia. See you later. Peace. I will take Kenny Golladay. Mike, who's your guy?
Like Marv said, the amount of options at wide receiver in this free agency, it's beautiful to look at. If you look at the list of the wide receivers out there, Galladay's out there, Will Fuller's out there, Juju Smith-Schuster's out there. There's guys out there to be had. And it's something that we brought up on this show a long time ago, or not too long ago, was the fact that as great as these names are, why the hell would anybody want to come to New England if you don't even know who's throwing you the damn ball?
That's what I'm saying, though. They have a lot of money.
Nobody knows yet. So, yes, you got the money to spend on these guys for sure. Another thing that the Patriots look like they want to do is shore up that offensive line. They got a big name back recently. Shout out to Trent Brown coming back to New England. And I smell something fishy. And I don't mean fishy in a bad way. I smell something fishy along the lines of I really believe Belichick is eyeing and angling for a reunion with his former quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think if I had to put money on it right now, I think that's happening.
I'm about to say Tom. Bill Belichick is eyeing and angling to try to get Garoppolo from the 49ers. And if he does that, because people got a quick glimpse of what Belichick and Garoppolo had together for a little short period of time. Garoppolo has had a little bit of solid success in San Francisco. Has he been an elite quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in the league? No, but their offense has been kind of not really in favor of Garoppolo and what he can possibly do. But if Belichick is angling to get him back, then you can open up the floodgates for these free agents to come in. You're talking about maybe a wide receiver or two, maybe a tight end. Hunter Henry's out there. You got some guys out there that you can bring in. I think, like I said before, if Belichick's angling to get a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo to New England, back to New England, now these Kenny Galladays, they start to look a little bit more nice, and these possible Will Fullers and Smith-Schuster, like these guys. I like all of them. I like all these names because the Patriots at this point need anybody to help out this team, especially this offense. But you got to get the quarterback solidified.
Right, I'm desperate. I mean, we're having this conversation. I'll take any receiver. I will take any receiver at this point. But no, I mean, like we were just saying, Jimmy Garoppolo, I feel like my thought on the Trent Brown trade that happened Tuesday morning, first thing in the morning, is that you don't just go and get Trent Brown to be mediocre again. They plan on doing something. They plan on being aggressive. And I think it would be the arousal that Bill Belichick would have to bring Jimmy Garoppolo back to New England. And not only that, to potentially beat the Bucs in Gillette Stadium. I mean, it's Bill's wet dream. That's what he wants. That's what he desires. And talk about the guy that I want the Patriots to bring in. I think we're talking receiving threats because this team desperately needs it. Guys, Curtis Samuel, I feel like he doesn't get the respect he deserves. That guy he's a badass.
Yeah.
He is somebody as a wide receiver one I would love to see the Patriots bring in. I would love to see them bring in most of these guys on this list. But specifically, Curtis Samuel is a guy that I feel like doesn't get the respect that he deserves from a lot of fans. Obviously, the league, I think, gives him the respect. But I think a lot of fans don't really know how good this guy is. And he's probably a move, too, if the Patriots do sign him. A lot of fans might not know enough about him to really be excited, but that would be a hell of a signing for the Patriots. And I'm glad you brought up Jimmy Garoppolo, because the thing is, with these free agents, I know I was just saying before that money talks, and even if you don't have a quarterback, you throw enough money at these guys, I think they'll end up showing up. But if you do think that you need the quarterback first, you might have to make that move within the next 5 days. Jimmy Garoppolo might have to be the Patriots quarterback in the next 5 days, or whoever you want your quarterback to be.
Quick.
It's gonna have to be fast, and I think these next 2 weeks for the Patriots are gonna be aggressive, and I think they're gonna be fun as hell. I think we're gonna get some names here.
You got to.
Oh, I'm ready for it. I would love to see Hunter Henry. I would love to see Kyle Rudolph. I would love to see Curtis Samuel. I want a solid tight end, and I want a badass receiver. Because you got Julian Edelman coming back too. And we saw some flashes of Jacoby Myers. You bring in a solid tight end and a wide receiver 1, and maybe even draft an offense. I don't know if I want Bill drafting more receivers. No. Maybe if there's a receiver available for him.
I don't know. There's some good receivers out there.
Yeah, there's been good receivers over the last how many years, and we continue.
Right, but we never drafted them. There's some real good.
Miss out, or we draft the wrong ones.
You give us Waddle or Smith. Now we talking.
That's that's a move. That's a move, and all of a sudden you've got a ton. Maybe not a ton, but you've got a good amount of solid weapons. This team might be back. Now, I know there are some great defensive players that I think that the Patriots are going to end up drafting at pick number 15. I do. I think that's the way that they're going to go, because we've all got PTSD too. PTSD with Bill drafting receivers first round. I mean, we're another episode this week. We're talking N'Keal Harry. So we've got some PTSD there. But the Patriots bringing in a guy like Curtis Samuel and then bringing in a tight end, whether it be Kyle Rudolph, who's on the back end of his career, who's not nearly the same guy that he was, or more favorably, Hunter Henry. Maybe Ossie takes a step forward this year. We saw a little flash in that last game. Suddenly, that offense is making noise. And if you bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, who's maybe not as good as we anticipated he would be when he was a backup here, but